And we didn't have it over here. That's why we don't need it. It seems to all the landowners I've talked to down here, it seems very random.
I have not heard straight answers to a single question.
Even at public hearings, it's often impossible to ask questions and get answers. Turns out that some of the public hearings in this area were also outsourced. A company called E2M had the contract for this hearing, which took place last winter in West Texas.
No elected officials, no scientists. Consulting firm, is that correct?
People were frustrated by a format that didn't allow for public dialogue.
This is not a public hearing. It does not qualify as a public hearing.
Just a few weeks later, Pamela Taylor attended a similar meeting in Brownsville.
They had people in front of computers, and we could either write our questions on a piece of paper or give them to the people on the computers, and they would hand them on to wherever they were supposed to go, but never any responses.
Residents here want responses to what for many are life and death questions. Pamela Taylor still isn't certain how she's going to get out from behind the wall.
So if your concern is that if you, as an elderly woman, needs help and an ambulance needs to get to you,
they said the fence was going to go right across the street. And as I said, my son-in-law asked, well, do you mind, how are we going to get out? And the fellow from the Corps of Engineers said, well, you know, we hadn't really thought about that. I guess you're going to have to follow the Border Patrol out.
So this is getting out just to go to the grocery store? This is getting out just to go to a hospital or a doctor's appointment?
Right.
I'm sure there are people who are going to hear this. They're going to say, that can't be possible.
It is possible.
That an American citizen is going to be essentially locked out of the United States of America because of this wall.
Yes. I mean, we're not the only ones.
Are they going to be like doors? Are there going to be fences? What?
Gates.
Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to open those gates?
If
you need to get,
we're still looking right now at different locking mechanisms of what's going to work best in certain areas. So that really hasn't been completely defined. One approach that I'm looking at as a patrol agent in charge in the Brownsville area is a push key type, the number system, the push pad. That might not be the greatest way, but enforced with a camera so we can make sure that that number or that combination doesn't get compromised. We can see basically work with the owner to find out who's going to be in that area, what kind of vehicle they'll be driving.
I don't think they know what they're going to do. First they're going to put electric doors, then they're going to have gates with keys, then it's not going to be closed at all. So it's just, I don't think anybody knows what's going on.
Back at their farm stand, the Loops also wait and wonder about those gates. Will they be locked? Will they be large enough to accommodate farm equipment? What happens at night? What about their employees? Who lets them in and out?
So when you're farming, you have to have entry with big equipment. How are they going to answer our questions? If they don't know, then how are we supposed to know? Don't put a fence up. If you don't know what you're doing, wait.
In 2006, both houses of Congress passed the fence bill by a wide margin. In fact, both presidential candidates, John McCain and Barack Obama, voted in favor of it. But around Washington these days, the fence seems to have fallen off the radar.
This is the biggest land grab that we've had here in the United States since probably they built the system of national highways, 60 years ago. I mean, this is just really unprecedented. And I think a lot more people would be paying attention if it were happening further north.
Just 2 weeks ago, the University of Texas at Brownsville won a reprieve. After much legal wrangling, the government has agreed not to run a fence through their campus.
DHS will not build a fence on the university campus.
Plans are being made for a virtual fence instead. But days earlier, construction of the wall started in a nearby Texas county. And in Brownsville, residents like Pamela Taylor have been told they're next.
And there will be people who will say, well, we're very sorry, Pamela, but we're sorry that it's going to affect your home and your property, but for the greater good, so that this country solves the immigration problem,
this is what needs to happen, and you just need to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to drop and roll on the ground and laugh, because that fence is not going to solve the problem. People that live further into America, they don't understand this. They hear the word fence and, oh, that fence is going to solve our problem. It's not going to solve the problem the way they're putting it right now. There is absolutely no way it's going to solve the problem.
Just think for a moment what it would be like if the government started to build a nice big metal fence in your front yard. Watch video of one man's frustration when that happened to him. It's all on our website.
Connect to Now online at pbs.org. Do fences make good borders? Learn about other famous barriers built around the world to keep people and cultures apart. Connect to Now at pbs.org. On the next edition of Now, we'll look at how the business of franchising is helping to